I arrived for the party around 6 p.m. My girlfriend, her roommates, and her roommate's boyfriend were there, all already tipsy. By 9 p.m., the party was in full swing with around 12 people. It was all good so far. I stepped outside to smoke a joint, and my girlfriend and her roommate walked out. My girlfriend wanted to talk to me. She was very drunk at this point and told me her cousin Adam was coming to the party, and he was also bringing Josh. Important. I caught my girlfriend texting Josh inappropriate texts about 3 months ago. She claimed it was harmless, flirting between friends, saying she could have him if she wanted, but never has nor will. She offered to not speak to him, and that's how it's been since then, to my knowledge. So my girlfriend told me not to make a big scene. She didn't want to ruin the party. Josh was just coming to hang out with the entire friend group and then head out. The next 3 hours, the entire group got progressively more drunk. Puking and rallying, I believe they call it when they throw up and take more shots. I had 2 shots the entire evening. From 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., my girlfriend was glued to Josh's hip. She made sure he had a drink, sat with him on the couch, laid her head on his shoulder, and grabbed his thigh close to the crotch while laughing at a joke. She would twerk a lot with her friends in front of the group. And being my girl, I was watching her. Each and every time she finished dancing, she would get up and look directly at Josh. My guess is to see if he was looking. This happened at least 5 times. I asked my girlfriend for a kiss quietly at some point, as I was really upset about the display, and I guess I wanted Josh to see her kissing me or something. Anyway, she leaned in, then pushed me away and left the room. At this point, I took her outside and told her that she was making me upset, being all over this guy in my face. She replied, "This is a lot," and walked back inside, ignoring me as I talked. I went back inside. I felt like I had to stay until everyone left to make sure nothing happened. At some point around 1 a.m., she got me out of my seat. I was just chatting with her cousin Adam, and she walked me to the door where she said goodnight and ushered me down the steps. I asked her why I was leaving. The only people left at the party were her roommates, both her roommates' boyfriends, her cousin, and Josh. I could see Josh through the doorway, through the kitchen in the living room as I was looking past her, and she was explaining to me that she just wanted to go in, take a shot, and then go to bed. I asked if I could stay with her tonight. I thought that was the plan from our talks before the party. She said no. She just wanted to sleep by herself. She immediately walked back inside, and I sat on the steps contemplating what to do. I decided she wasn't in her right mind, and I walked back inside. I care about her. I don't want anything to happen to her. I do not trust anyone around her when she is blacked out. We'll get to this in a moment, but definitely blacked out. So I went back inside, and she was sitting on the couch with Josh. Josh announced to the group they were going to McDonald's if anyone wanted to come. I said, "Hey, I'll go, but I'm driving my car. I'm sober. Anyone can ride with me." Adam and Josh walked out and got in their car anyway. Okay, cool. I was in the kitchen alone with my girlfriend, begging her, "We are all going to McDonald's. I'm going, they are going, I'm sober, you are all intoxicated. Please ride with me." She was giggling and pretty much ignored what I said and walked to talk to her roommate for a second. They were giggling, and she walked out the door towards the guy's car. I was calling after her. She didn't stop. I was crying like, "Please be responsible and ride with me," etc. And she didn't respond, just got in, and they headed out. I walked back inside. I wanted to talk to her roommates, who don't really like me anyway, and ask them if they had seen this behavior. Me, one of the roommates, and her boyfriend stayed up from around 1:30 when they left until 5 a.m. talking about this whole situation. Her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend were telling me she was texting the guy, and she had been talking to him, and that she actually had him over here when I wasn't around. I was losing it pretty much all night, reconfirming with them over and over that indeed the dude that I caught her texting had been texting and seeing her. I waited until 5:30 a.m. for her to come home. I was sitting in her room when she got back. I couldn't even speak to her. They had taken more liquor to go eat at McDonald's, and she was so intoxicated. I don't want to keep rambling, but basically, I wanted to see her phone. I needed to know if what the roommate said was true. She was upset and didn't understand why I was being so aggressive about seeing her phone. So I told her that people were telling me she's cheating. She started looking for her phone but couldn't find it. She couldn't remember if she walked in with it. She was walking around the house like a zombie looking for it. We couldn't find it. It was like 8 a.m. We called it a night. I stayed over only because I wanted to find that phone as soon as possible before I left. We woke up. We couldn't find it. We went to her cousin's, not in his car. We went to McDonald's, and that's where we found her phone crushed in the parking lot. Man, I don't know what to do. I feel like I could have moved past finding those texts. I was very upset about it, but I was under the impression they didn't talk anymore. And it made me happy to know that she valued my feelings enough to not speak with her friend out of respect for me. Now, I don't know. She disrespected me by inviting him to the party and just telling me to shut up and not make a scene. She disrespected me all night, dancing in front of him, watching his reaction, grabbing all over him, sitting with him, not sitting with me, kissing/hugging me, etc. She claims to have no memory of the night after 9 p.m. That's when they started doing some TikTok shot trends or something like that. She remembers doing those shots, then racing someone on the interstate, and then me yelling at her about her phone. To me, her wanting me to leave and me clearly still seeing the dude in the living room was her subconscious choosing him over me. What do you all think about this? I don't drink like that. I'm not sure what is going on during a blackout, but the old saying is drunk actions are sober thoughts, yeah? I just can't even clear up what her roommates are saying. She says they are lying. We will all sit down and talk about it, I suppose. I want to either expose them as terrible liars or expose her as a terrible cheater. And even if I can confirm she hasn't been seeing him or texting him, how do you deal with the fact that she brought him to the party and told me to shut up about it and did everything she did in front of my face, asked me to leave, and left with him? I'm really lost. I want to believe she cares. She seems remorseful for the party, but adamantly denies the rumors from her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend. To add, I know a lot of people are asking for an update. I will when I'm out of school today. I just want to say, kind of rude, funny, or sad, all these comments help me out, and I do appreciate all of you guys. We'll post later about where I'm at now. Thanks for all the confirmation and support. Now for an update. I met with the girl today. I guess she just got a new phone to replace the broken one. And she called me. I wanted to meet, 1, to get her all her stuff out of my house, and 2, to end it in person. I know a lot of you were suggesting ghosting. Maybe I'm wrong. I always assumed over the phone was childish, and although everything she did was childish, I am not. And I ended it respectfully. I was genuinely freaking out when she arrived at my place, heart racing, but I walked out with confidence and asked for her phone. She said, "Why? I told you there is nothing in there." And I said that's all I needed to hear. I grabbed her stuff to give to her and just told her to go. We are done. She didn't say a word, just left. Boy, does this whole situation literally suck. First relationship, I was finally old enough, I guess, where I started to take things seriously and really wanted to build a future. I still will with the right person, though. If you all have any questions or anything, ask away. I guess talking about it is actually really nice, to be real. Just want to get all this off my chest or whatever, and move on. Focus on my guitar, laughing out loud. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Please grow a backbone, man. She is openly humiliating you and clearly cheating on you. This isn't even worth fretting over. It's one of the most clear-cut cases of needing to dump someone I've ever read. End it now, and in a few months, you'll look back and shake your head at how it took you so long. Comment 2. Man, all these comments were exactly what I was expecting. I told her that to continue with this relationship would be to diminish my own self-worth. I appreciate you all sharing your opinions. I saw it the exact same way. I wanted another option, but was too embarrassed to tell my friends honestly. Now for the update. 2 days after the breakup, Olivia hit me up, asking if we could talk. I figured, why not? Maybe we could clear things up or whatever. So I agreed to meet her at this diner in town. When I got there, she was already sitting at a booth, looking all nervous and fidgeting with her phone like crazy. It was kinda awkward. First thing she asked was if I had seen the messages on her phone before it got crushed. I was like, no, and reminded her that she had claimed there was nothing to see anyway. Then she dropped this news on me. Apparently, she had been in contact with Josh again after the party. She swore they were just friends, but honestly, all I could think was, here we go again. Didn't take a genius to know that this was about to be a whole thing. We started going back and forth about her trust issues, and I asked her if she would choose Josh over me if it came down to it. She kept insisting that she just wanted to keep things casual, but I wasn't buying it. I could tell she was lying, and I told her so. That's when she said I was overreacting about her friendship with this guy. I mean, come on, what kind of friendship is that? I was getting defensive, and she was throwing around words like controlling and paranoid. I couldn't believe it. Then she casually mentioned that she had seen Josh at a party the week before. I was like, why didn't you tell me about it? And she just shrugged it off like it was no big deal. At this point, I was just done. She stood up and walked out of the diner, and that was that. A few hours later, my mom called me up asking about Olivia. I told her about our conversation, and she really urged me to be careful about Olivia's influence. Apparently, Olivia had a history. My mom revealed that she had previously cheated on her ex-boyfriend with some other guy, and that was a big no for me. I decided I had to confront Olivia about her history, so I planned a family dinner for the weekend. At the dinner, I casually brought it up, but Olivia grew tense and you could feel the tension in the air. She denied the accusations and claimed that she had changed since then. Yeah, right. I felt the atmosphere shift as my family looked on in disbelief. I mentioned how I felt she was not being honest, and that's when she exploded in anger. She accused me of not believing in her and ruining a special family gathering. Talk about drama. The argument escalated and she stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. After she left, I could feel everyone's eyes on me, waiting for an explanation. It was so uncomfortable. My mom tried to change the subject to diffuse the situation, but it didn't work at all. A few days later, I saw this post on social media of Olivia with Josh at another party. That was it for me. I decided to block her on social media to avoid any more hurt. I didn't want to see that crap. Not long after, I got a text from her asking why I blocked her. I didn't even respond because, honestly, what's the point? I was done. Then I got a call from a mutual friend saying Olivia was upset about the block. My friend filled me in on the details, and it turned out she was claiming that I was the one who cheated. Unbelievable. I found out later that Olivia had started telling people I was the controlling one. Like, excuse me? The situation escalated even more when I heard through friends that Olivia was now dating Josh. I had to laugh at that. In the end, I learned that some people may never change. I was done with all of it. I decided to focus on playing guitar and rebuilding my social circle. I needed to surround myself with better people, that's for sure. Edit. After the dinner, Olivia continued to contact me through texts and calls, but I ignored them. Eventually, a family member let slip that Olivia had been spreading false stories about me among our mutual friends. This confused me, as I never cheated or acted controlling. I told my family about this, and they supported me completely, reassuring me that the right people would see through her lies. I eventually spoke to a few friends who confirmed Olivia's claims were false. Am I the idiot for cutting off my toxic family to protect my wife after my cousin assaulted her? For some context, I, 28-year-old male, and my wife, 27-year-old female, who I'm just going to call wifey, have been together for a decade now. We met in a very cliché manner when she walked into the wrong class and sat beside me, not really related to the story at all, but it's my favorite thing ever. So 3 weeks ago, I was at my sister's, 30-year-old female, house to help her with her parenting. I've done this every Wednesday evening since her husband passed away because it's nice to give her some time off. Anyway, what I didn't know is that the majority of my family were at her place, along with wifey, who usually tags along on these evenings because my nieces adore her. My cousin, 37-year-old male, was there too, with my aunt, 59-year-old female, and uncle, 59-year-old male, along with my parents and grandparents. The evening was going fine, and nothing seemed off. It was kind of like an impromptu family gathering. Now, wifey suffers from chronic migraines, so midway through the evening, it got a little too much for her, and she decided to go home. No problem, she catches a taxi home. I wanted to go home with her, but she pushed me to stay and help clean up. The first people to leave were my aunt and uncle. An hour afterward, my cousin said he needed to leave because his wife needed help with their own kids. I don't get home until past midnight, and wifey is asleep, so I naturally also just go to sleep and give her a cuddle. In the morning, she wakes up and is reasonably angry when she gets upset at me for coming into the bedroom when I got home last night, knowing her head was sore and that she just wanted to sleep. This confuses me because the second I got in, I crashed in bed. So I press her on it, and she says she very sleepily remembers that I came home maybe 2 or 3 hours after her and had intimacy with her before kissing her forehead and leaving. I tell her that I didn't do anything to her last night, and she gets angrier, so we have a bit of an argument. But I'm doubting myself and thinking maybe I did come on to her and just didn't remember it. So I check the cameras we have around the house, which we installed a while back after a break-in attempt. I see my cousin using the spare key to get into our house, my cousin. Of course, I don't tell wifey this because I'm panicking, so I check the camera we have in the bedroom, and oh my God, I watched my cousin attack my half-conscious wife. I don't show wifey the clip, but I send it to my phone and save it. The first thing I do is comfort my baby, obviously, because she's a mess, and I get her parents over, along with my own, because I'm honestly scared I might unalive my cousin at this point. My mom texts her sister, my cousin's mother, and tells her what's happened, while wifey, me, and her mom go to the police. Now, there's a case opened, and I have to hand over the security footage of my cousin, along with the pajamas my wife was wearing and the bed sheets. The case is still being investigated. My family is split, and wifey's a mess. She hasn't been eating or sleeping much at all, and all she seems to be able to do is cry in my arms and apologize for cheating. I've reassured her as best as I can that she hasn't cheated at all, and that what happened was disgusting. But she keeps saying that she was awake and should have known better. She was in chronic pain with her migraine and half asleep. I need to know, other than the therapy I've already sorted out, any ways in which I can be more there for her and support her. I've also got myself therapy, because I'm not sure seeing my wife be attacked by my cousin is the best thing for my mental health. I think I might be in some sort of shock, honestly. Anyway, my aunt and uncle maintain that my wife cheated on me with my cousin and that she's just looking for an out. But my cousin's wife has already split from him. She did the second she found out about what he did to my wife and isn't letting him see their kids. My aunt and uncle are telling everyone they can that their precious baby boy would never do such a thing, and that my wife's a cheating, lying intimacy worker, and it's really getting to her. Obviously, getting my aunt and uncle to see sense is not my top priority. Getting my wife justice and comforting her is. How do I help wifey in this situation, and how do I get my aunt and uncle to see how horrible what their son did to her is? Also, if anyone has any idea how the legal process could go, it would really help, because I've never had to deal with anything like this before, and would like to be as prepared as possible. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. If this is real, holy crap, dude. This is above Reddit's pay grade. You and your wife need to consult with licensed therapists to help you move forward. Forget about your family for a moment and focus on supporting your wife. When she is ready, ask her how she would like to proceed. See if she would be okay with showing your family the video so that they understand she was raped. Edit. Oh, and change your locks. Comment 2. I would be yelling loudly to anyone that would listen that your aunt and uncle are trying to victim blame a rap victim to cover the fact that their son is a rapper, that you have video evidence and you are collecting every shred of evidence of their slander, and you will see them in court. Now for the update. It's been just over a month since my cousin attacked my wife. Wifey started therapy about 2 weeks ago, and she's been working through a lot of stuff. I go to every session with her for support, Our parents suggested having a family dinner to talk about the situation. I wasn't really into it at first, but wifey thought it would be good to let everyone know how she was feeling, so we agreed to it. The dinner happened at my parents' house, and everyone was there, except my cousin, thank God. It got awkward pretty fast. My parents tried to keep it light at first, but they eventually brought up the incident. My aunt and uncle just went off. They insisted that it was wifey's fault for being vulnerable. I couldn't believe it. I stood up for wifey, and that's when things got worse. My uncle was shouting that wifey was making a scene, and I completely lost it. I told them they were letting my cousin get away with it. My aunt said I was overreacting and ruining the family. I told my parents I wanted to cut ties with my aunt and uncle the next day. They were hesitant, but I insisted that it was necessary for wifey's peace. I also learned that my cousin was trying to reach out to family members for support. I confronted him via text and demanded he leave wifey alone. He just responded with accusations, saying it was all a misunderstanding. We decided to block him on all platforms to cut off all communication. A week later, wifey got a message from a family member defending my cousin. We went to my brother's birthday party, and the vibe was just so awkward. My aunt tried to talk to wifey, but she just avoided her. Then my cousin showed up, and I felt this rush of anger seeing him. My brother noticed the tension and tried to lighten the mood, but it was just so uncomfortable. At one point, my cousin approached wifey and I had to step in. We ended up leaving the party early. That night, wifey and I talked about moving away from our hometown for a fresh start. It seems like it would help us get away from all the drama. I started looking at job opportunities in a different city. Wifey found a support group online for survivors, and she decided to join. It made me really happy to see her finding different outlets. I also made plans to visit a city I found interesting for job prospects. On the day of our visit, I got a call from my cousin demanding to talk. I ignored his call and just focused on our trip. I wanted to keep wifey safe and just enjoy our time together. We had a great time visiting the city, and it really felt like a fresh start. After our visit, we went back home and decided we needed to take some time apart from family, just to let things cool down for a bit. Edit. It's been a while since we distanced ourselves from family. Wifey is doing much better now. She's progressing in therapy and feeling more confident. We started looking at houses in a new city. It's exciting for both of us. We're planning a visit soon to check out more options. Am I the idiot for refusing to tattoo my girlfriend's name and choosing my own happiness over her ultimatums? I've been with my girlfriend, who is 18 years old, for 8 months now. Recently, she got a tattoo because she always wanted one. She told me to get her name tattooed, and initially I said no. I'm perfectly fine with getting tattoos and plan on getting some myself when I save up enough. However, I personally think it's a bad idea to get your significant other's name tattooed because it's like the kiss of death. I'm not really comfortable with getting one while dating. I'd rather wait until marriage, which is what I told her. But it made her mad, and she gave me the deadline of December 8th to get it done, or she would break up with me. I absolutely love this girl to bits and want to have a future with her. And breaking up with her is something I want to avoid at all costs. But after this, I don't know how to bring up my feelings again. I don't want to hurt her feelings or disappoint her about how I feel about getting her name. I know I need to talk about this, but how do I go about it? Thank you, everyone. Side note, I just wanted to talk about a few things since I can't like everyone's comments for being funny or giving good advice. First, thank you everyone for your united opinions on my situation. I've never seen this happen before, which is funny. For people saying she should get the tattoo first, I've asked that before and she said she'll get it after I get mine, so that answers that. Again, thank you everyone for your advice and for helping me realize I was a fool for tolerating this, and that this is something I should never stand for or tolerate in a relationship. Thank you again, and I will give an update since that was asked too, not sure when. Now for an update. Hello again, everyone. I bring good news that I'm sure everyone will be proud of. I have taken all your advice and suggestions on my situation and made up my mind about leaving her, and that is exactly what I did. Last night, I ended things with my girlfriend, and it was a huge weight off my chest. How she acted in those moments really highlighted how unhealthy my relationship was with her, because I always gave her what she asked and never said no. When I said no to her ultimatum, she just broke down and blamed me for everything. For everyone saying I was a submissive, lovesick idiot, I 100% agree with you. I was blind and only focused on making her happy without focusing on myself. And I started to deal with her manipulation and threats just to make her happy at all costs, which is something I never should have done. So thank you, everyone, for your united advice and helping me realize I was being foolish for putting up with this for 8 months. And a random side note, I figured I'd treat myself to a reward for not people-pleasing her or trying to make her happy while breaking up, so I got a new car. Bye, and thank you again. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Say you give in to this ultimatum. What's next? What other thing is she gonna say? If you don't do this, I'm gonna leave you. If you do this, you will set a precedent for your relationship that will be hard to break out of. Comment 2. Break up. I have multiple tattoos, but would never get someone's name and would run very quickly in the opposite direction if someone got mine. Also, Google Norman Rockwell tattoo. Now for the update. It's been 10 days since I broke up with my ex. Things are going pretty well, if I do say so myself. Just throwing myself into work and enjoying my new car. Man, I love that thing. It's like having freedom on 4 wheels. So the other day, I'm at the grocery store picking up some snacks, because who doesn't love snacks, right? And guess who I run into? My ex. She sees me and comes over with this forced smile. Like, girl, we just broke up. You don't have to act like everything's great. She says she's been thinking a lot about me lately. Okay, cool. But I'm not trying to get pulled back into whatever we had. So I keep my distance and think about all the pressure she put on me to get her name tattooed on me. Yeah, no thanks. She starts talking about how she misses our weekend movie nights. I just give her short, polite answers. She's trying to reminisce and all, but I'm not about to get stuck in a nostalgia fest. I can feel the awkwardness creeping in like a bad smell. Then out of nowhere, she casually drops that she got a new tattoo of my name on her wrist. Like what? I mean, come on. I think to myself, okay, I gotta get out of here. So I make up some excuse about having to hurry to another appointment. I'm pretty sure she knows I'm dodging her, but whatever. So after that awkward encounter, I go home and have dinner with my brother. I tell him about running into her at the grocery store, and he just laughs. He's like, dude, you should just block her on social media. I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like a plan. So I decide to cut off all online contact. 2 days later, I get a message from my ex on Instagram. She starts going off, accusing me of being immature for avoiding her and not appreciating her tattoo. I can't even. I just delete the message without responding. I'm over all this drama. My parents invite me over for dinner to celebrate my mom's birthday. I think it could be a good distraction, so I decide to go. Everything's cool at first, and then guess who shows up? My ex. She claims she wanted to surprise me. Surprise? More like awkward fest. Everyone's trying to act normal, but you can feel the tension. My younger sister, who's totally unaware of the drama, asks why we broke up. My ex tries to explain her side, and I'm sitting there just cringing. My brother jumps in to defend me, saying I deserve to be happy without pressure. His words make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, but my ex snaps back at him. She's like, you guys don't support me. And I'm just thinking, support you? What about me? After dinner, I step outside for some fresh air because I need it. And guess what? My ex is waiting by my car. She demands to know why I'm trying to erase her from my life. I just look at her and have this moment of clarity. I say, look, here's a parting gift, a one-way ticket to a new city. She's stunned and then gets all angry, tearing the ticket in front of me. I'm just standing there, calm as can be, and I tell her it's better for both of us to go our separate ways. As I'm turning to leave, she shouts that she'll always be in my thoughts. I just keep walking and say, not anymore. A week after that whole mess, I get a text from her friend asking if she's okay. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't even care at this point. I'm just enjoying a quiet evening at home, watching some shows and eating snacks. Life's too short for all this drama. Edit. I've since learned she moved across the country. Her friends say she's doing well, but I'm not keeping track anymore. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.